Hi guys, I'm Karthik, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how I managed to get consistent and I managed to stay that way while practicing for the SAT. So, my inability to get consistent for maybe the first 3 to 4 months of preparation probably lost me some points, right? If I was able to be consistent through the entire time that I wanted to study for the SAT, I probably could have gotten a higher score. But I believe that volume, right, is single-handedly the most important thing to focus on. If you've seen any of my other videos, you know that the one thing that improves your score is just doing more problems. The sheer amount of problems that you do relates to how big your score gets. So, but I was never able to get consistent, right? I'd wake up one day wanting to do some SAT practice, and that entire day would go by. I'd just be procrastinating, checking my phone, doing things that weren't helping me, and the whole day would go by, right? So the next day I'd wake up, I'd be like, okay, I have to make up for that day. I have to do at least something, and that day would actually go pretty well. I'd do like 5 problems, and then I'd be like, okay, this is easy. Let's run through a whole section. I'd do a whole section. I'd do maybe a little bit more. I'd review the section. I'd be like, okay, you know what? This is enough for that day. Let's try to maintain this tomorrow. And the next day would come, and I'd repeat the cycle. I would repeat the cycle of just wanting to do prep, but then constantly procrastinating. I was only ever able to do something because I was motivated to do it. But when I wasn't specifically motivated, it was just so hard to get working. So I was just struggling with focusing on the right thing and being consistent in doing that every day. So the main two things that really helped me get consistent was learning some main concepts and starting in a different way that I previously had done. I thought I just had to start, do the bulk of the work and keep it going, and that's actually a big mistake. So here's how to start from zero. If you relate to that story, you will relate to this idea of just procrastinating and not being able to do your work. If you have any connection to that, if that's how you feel when you do SAT prep or anything else that you're trying to start, this book Atomic Habits is so useful. Right? I read that book probably about 2 or 3 years ago, and I still use some of the concepts from it today in my daily life. So, one of the basic concepts in that book is systems, not habits, right? We want to focus less on making the habit work and making it stick, but we want to focus on a system, right? A position in our life, right? Multiple things that are in our life that actually encourage us to do the habit, right? We want to have things in place that we can control that helps us get better at the habit. So an example of that would be like a good environment, etc. But I'll go on to what specifically you can do like that doesn't involve anyone else influencing you. So something that's completely in your control. So one other key step, right? I talked about concepts and I talked about starting, right? So with starting, I wouldn't worry about volume, right? My mistake in that specific scenario I gave where I did nothing on day one, a lot of things on day two, and nothing again on day three. My mistake was doing so much work and burning myself out for the next day. If I want to focus on actually building a habit and doing prep every single day and increasing the amount of prep I do on a weekly basis, then I need to worry about how much I'm doing every single day, not how much I'm doing on separate days. So don't worry about doing a lot in one day. Focus on something that you can do pretty easily every single day, right? Maybe that's 10 problems. Maybe that's 20 problems of every single day. That's something that's so simple, maybe takes about 20 to 30 minutes, but commit to doing that every day. Commit to doing something that you think is easy in terms of volume and every single day. You want it to feel effortless. You want it to feel small. You want to have a little bit of challenge, but not too much. But the most important part is that you do it every single day because we're trying to build this system. We're trying to build an ability to do it every single day. Now, I already talked about prioritizing daily work over volume, but how do we really increase the volume of what we're doing? How do we go from that effortless small task to doing more and more every day? So, how I structured it is almost every week I felt that not only was what I was doing like easy and pretty effortless in terms of volume, like I actually felt like it was too easy. It was getting to the point where there wasn't even the slight bit of challenge as there was before, and that's when I pushed it up. when you really feel like you can do more, just bump it up a little bit, but bump it up just enough to where you could feel that you could now maintain that volume of work every single day. If I had to do just that small amount every single day, like I would be able to handle that increase. So every time you want to increase, so think about that. And when it feels hard, that one day is going to come up, maybe like 2 weeks into doing it every day, where you're like, man, I really don't want to do this right now. Try to maintain the volume. It doesn't have to be good practice. It doesn't have to be excellent practice, but if you just show up and do the work, try to get the minimum volume done, as you've mentioned that you would commit and do to yourself every single day. If you try to do that minimum volume, it doesn't have to be great. Just get it done. That is actually some of the most important things you can do. Maintaining the habit, even when it gets hard, just builds your ability to do the habit even more. So on the day where it feels easy, it won't just feel easy, it'll feel really easy. It'll feel easier than before. Now, how to increase your focus. Now, a lot of people think meditation is like wishy-washy and something that's not really like bound in science, but there's actually a lot of studies that prove how meditation can increase your focus. Right now, I say meditation, and a lot of people are going to be like, "Oh my God, I'm never doing that." It doesn't have to be like you're sitting at the top of a mountain and like your knees pointing either side, just like standing in front of the sun. Like, no, it isn't as like spiritual as you think it is. It's more of just like a practice of breathing, right? So mindfulness meditation specifically is just breathing deeply and focusing on your breath. And every time you have a thought, you just come back to the breath, right? You have a thought, you recognize you have a thought, and then you go back to breathing and you focus on breathing again until you get distracted again and you do it all over again, right? And this is proven to help increase your focus, partly because it helps you, like every time you get a distraction in your head, you don't think of that distraction consciously. It kind of just comes. And meditation trains your ability to come back to what you were focusing on, which is the breath. And the same way I described habits before, you don't have to do like 10 minutes. You could literally do 1 minute every day. Just as soon as you get out of bed, just put a timer on your phone for 1 minute, breathe, focus on your breath. And this will literally help you stay like working for longer. Like you will be able to do more work and not even realize it. You'll be able to like think longer. You'll be able to do more work, right? And I say this exponentially compounds your progress for the SAT, because not only are you already building the habit towards getting consistent every single day and increasing your volume every single day, but you're also increasing your ability to do that. So you're increasing your ability to stick with the habit, but you're also increasing your ability to just like focus longer for every single day. Right. So you're just the amount of work that you're going to be able to do is just going to increase by so much if you meditate. And I swear this is something I do every single day and I have not looked back. I find it amazing for productivity. And there's also a multitude of other benefits that are scientifically proven for meditation. It can help with all sorts of things, mental health wise. It's just a really good thing to put in your daily routine. Now, track your habits. I talked about things that you could do to create systems and not habits. And this is one of the most major things that I found is so beneficial. And I actually have a piece of paper to the right side of me right now that has the habits that I want to do and a tracker with a little tick on the days that I've done them. Right. So you need to have a piece of paper. This needs to be physical. Don't do this on a phone, or it just doesn't have the same effect, because the effect that it has is it's motivating. You have all these things that you want to accomplish. And every time you tick it off, you get like a little bit of satisfaction. Right. And you can see on your paper, like if you keep it where you work most of the time at home, then you can see this piece of paper where you are, and you'll just have the reminder that you need to do this. And since you're not focusing on doing 20 minutes and you're actually focusing on doing like a small portion every single day and committing yourself to that, like finishing the task will actually seem really easy. So it serves as a really good visual reminder. And I highly recommend that you track your habits. And I recommend that you read that book. It's really useful. I really enjoyed like just the way that everything is explained and how to create the system in your life. It was really useful and I highly recommend it. So I promised in a previous video that I have a free course about this, and that video was so long, it's like not feasible to upload to YouTube. So I'm going to break it down into a bunch of separate parts. This entire video is actually like a short version of a few of the things that I really did to get consistent and build my productive practice of SAT prep. And so I want to make this course completely free and available to you guys. So I'm trying to figure out a platform that I can host it on and some things that I can add in it that'll make it more useful to you guys. But that's coming soon. And as soon as that comes out, I'll let you guys know. And it's going to be completely free. I'm going to make sure that you don't have to pay anything for it. So I'm trying to find a platform that allows me to do that. But on top of that, I'm offering free SAT prep. And I have one more spot left that might already be taken, but it's worth applying in case that spot is not taken. So yeah, let me know if you're interested in that with the link in description. And let me know if you learned something from this video. Thank you guys so much, and I hope you learned something.